I felt like everyone had different definitions for what a staycation is. So, for the record, I'd love to hear how you define staycations.
So I think that probably like maybe the technical quote unquote definition that a lot of people would use is a vacation time where you are not paying for an accommodation, instead staying home and exploring things close by. And I think that's like a good definition. I'm fine with it. I think that staying in an accommodation is still a staycation as long as it's close to home. I feel like the definition can be fluid and it can mean whatever you want it to mean. I don't know if there needs to be a rule.
I appreciate that because, like, honestly, for me, I personally feel like anything in my state of Connecticut is like a staycation.
Yeah.
And like sometimes that does look like, babe, let's like just get a hotel, even though it's
Mhm.
45 minutes away.
Yeah.
We don't just want to drive. Like that is totally okay. So I love this fluid. It doesn't, there's no guardrails, right? Like it could be
No.
fluid and you could define what a staycation looks like for you.
Listen, I love to say that the rules are made up. Like, just make them whatever you want the definition to be work for you.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'd love to hear, why do you think that staying local, exploring your local area is so important? Especially in today's world, we have rising costs, inflation, we have fuel prices, we have limited vacation times, also school schedules. So there's a lot of things that are pulling us. So, any thoughts on why exploring local is so important?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of facets at play here, like you said, and you and I both come from a personal finance background, so I think that we can't ignore the fact that life has gotten more expensive, and I think that that's probably universal, no matter where folks are listening from. We're seeing really high gas prices right now, like you said, and we're definitely seeing that go into flight prices. That's getting scary, and I don't like that, but any trip where you're driving a short distance from home is just automatically going to be easier on the wallet than flying somewhere. Time off is another really important factor when you're considering why you should staycation. Like, I personally work a sort of traditional 9 to 5 role. I get limited time off in the year. And also combining the fact that I have pets, it's harder to leave for a week or two. It's just a lot more to arrange. So, planning a weekend getaway or even a day trip is just a lot easier. And I think, like you said, everyone has different levels of responsibilities. If you have kids, people who have kids in sports, I have several friends who have children in sports, and like getting away for a week is really, really hard. So planning a quick trip can be so much easier to fit in to your schedule. And the last factor that I really want to highlight, especially for those of us in rural areas or areas that don't get as much tourism, our small businesses really need us to support them. And currently, here in Nova Scotia, we're recording this at a time when my government is cutting funding for arts in Nova Scotia and museums. So we're in danger of losing museums and art spaces if they're not being used. So if we want restaurants and cafes and museums and performances, which are all things I love when I'm traveling, if I want that in my community, I need to support them by showing up. And I think that's a really important factor for people to consider.
Supporting could look like supporting with your dollars, supporting with your time and attendance,
Yeah.
right? And the threat of things being taken away, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. Have you always had this interest in exploring local, or is it something that was like sparked?
Yeah, I think that naturally, like you, I like to travel and explore. So I just have always been interested in communities around me. And so I used to live in the city of Halifax. We would often, on weekends, head downtown. I lived like a half an hour outside of the downtown core to go do like touristy things just for fun, something to do on the weekend, try new restaurants, do that sort of thing. I think I became more interested in staycations when I started my travel blog, we'll say for travel. So I was writing a lot about Nova Scotia and about Halifax. Going anywhere new can feel like a real trip, even if you're 45 minutes, an hour from your home. And so just getting out and exploring.
thinking about the places that I've been to recently, it's always that feeling of excitement, and you come back home with memories and you're sharing
Yeah.
with your family and friends,
Yeah.
like all of those good endorphins, which I think is really important. So
Yeah.
I love to hear how you step by step plan a staycation. Walk us through it.
Okay. I think I kind of keep a running list of things that I want to do that are close to me. And I'm just kind of like gathering those over time. I say a running list, it's a mental list. It's not really written down anywhere. It probably should be written down somewhere. Um, of just kind of like snippets and ideas. And mostly I'm getting those from like my friends posting stuff on Instagram and Facebook, right? Things that are close by. And so a staycation for me, planning it is just kind of taking all of those things on my mental list and being like, okay, what's all in one area or one town? Or taking an anchor activity, like say there's a hike I really want to do, there's a restaurant I really want to try, and then researching and looking like, what else can I do while I'm in that area? So I guess I kind of really approach it the same way as I do a big trip. It's research and seeing what's around and what you really want to do. Not as often I plan like an accommodation, but I have. So it really depends.
I have a really good example where it was a couple of weeks before Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? Like, I want to do something obviously for Valentine's Day, but not on like that day. 'Cause I know it's like, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
So we literally looked at hotels in our favorite spot the day after Valentine's Day,
Mm.
that Sunday. And it was so cheap. It was like a no-brainer. On top of that, I had points. So I was just like, boom,
Yeah.
done. And that itself was just enough to be like, yep, let's go and just have one night, especially as parents of toddlers. Like one night is sometimes all you really need to
Yeah.
get away.
Yeah.
To
I
get
think
away.
I think that a lot of people think that a staycation won't feel like a real quote unquote real trip. Like, what does that even mean? But I think really have to treat it like it's going to be a real getaway and like really consider what you like to do when you travel. And for me, like the things that I really like to do when I'm traveling is like great coffee, interesting food, learning about the history of the area and like scenery and architecture. Like those are the things that I look for when I'm traveling. So another like really easy example is I last summer we went to a town that's like a 45-minute drive away from us. It's a town that I've been to countless times in my life. It's a huge tourism town. There's lots of things to do, but I haven't done everything there. So we picked a restaurant online that we hadn't been to before. And after dinner, we like walked around and got ice cream and like took in the scenery. And then we went on a ghost tour. And so we got like that little bit of history. I got like interesting food and walking around, even though it's a town that I've been in before, there's always things to see or, beautiful scenery is beautiful scenery, whether you've seen it 1,000 times or not. So that hits, most of the things on my personal like travel wish list. It was like one evening. We were gone probably like 5 or 6 hours or something like that. But you can easily apply that to a weekend or a week. Just taking your anchor things that you like to do and finding them locally. I'm sure that they're around. So I know that for me in the past, it has I've had a mindset that staying in a hotel close to my house or an accommodation close to my house is a waste of money. Like that's a mindset thing that I've had. But if you can afford to do it, I really recommend that you do it. Similar to your story about going away for Valentine's Day, like it does give you that true sense of a vacation and changing the scenery. We personally have some great like resorts that are really close to my house, like 15-20 minutes away from my house, and I've actually stayed at one of them just to like enjoy the amenities and like relax. And it's really nice when you have people come from out of town to go do those kind of touristy things in your own town with them too. So yeah, I think just kind of to sum up planning a staycation, like you get out of it what you put into it. If you don't put a lot of effort into it, maybe it won't feel like a real trip. But if you plan a staycation like a vacation, it will probably feel like one.
Do you use like any resources like Facebook groups? Are you looking at coffee shop bulletins,
Mm.
newsletters, like flyers, posters? Like, what's your strategy for gathering all this bits and bobs of information as you're
Mhm.
pulling a staycation together?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm always keeping that mental list of things to do that my friends are posting interesting things online. So, yeah, check out what people you know are doing in your area on Instagram or Facebook or what have you. I'm also in tourism Facebook groups for my province. So, people are always posting ideas in there, or tourists or whoever that are coming to our province are like, oh, hey, I'm going to be in this area. What should I do there? And people are listing things all the time. And yeah, I live here and maybe I do know about a lot of them, but there's always things that you don't know. And I think another great one is travel bloggers are such an excellent source of information. See what they're writing about when they come to your area. They may have found some hidden gems that maybe you don't know about. So I think that's usually where I get most of my information.
I know for me, like I sometimes look at when I'm driving on the freeway, I may see like any billboards, like
Mm,
sometimes they advertise like something that's going on. I also look at the coffee shop bulletins to see we have community centers. Something else I also do a lot is like food truck festivals and
yeah.
concerts, and like your local area may have events. Like I know here
Yeah.
we had a couple summers ago was like go to the zoo for free for the
Mm.
entire summer if you were a local. So there's like a lot of activations, especially in the summertime, that you may not be aware of. But if you keep your kind of eyes out, your feelers out, that could be very, very helpful. Jen, what's some simple action steps that listeners can take right now? Any homework, actionable steps that we can take?
I love giving people homework, so this is amazing. So, I'm going to challenge you, the listener out there, to Google your area, things to do in X, make a list of like, let's say 2 or 3 things that you've never done that are like maybe within an hour of where you live, and make a plan to do them, like an actual plan to be like, in this month, we're going to go do this. So, like I said, I'm in rural Nova Scotia, but there's still things that I haven't done here. So I feel like if I can make a list, then you can make a list. I'm confident you can find things in your area that you've never done.